Hi, my name is Eternal Apprentice. This is my husband, Aster Brand. I'm here today because I'm going to do a review on my Dreams of Gaia Tarot card deck by, what's her name, honey?
Ravynne Phelan.
And it is also published by the Blue Angel publication, which they're really, really good. I've liked a lot of their decks, I've noticed. It comes in a really, really nice, sturdy cardboard box. Pretty thick too, because I most generally keep black tourmaline and selenite in my box with it. And this is the part where your cards would go in. It goes in there very, very securely, and for being cardboard, it's pretty sturdy. I like it a lot. And it is accompanied by a guidebook that's 308 pages. But when you do buy it, don't just automatically go for the cheapest one, because you may not necessarily be buying one with a guidebook. You may just be buying it with the cards, because there's different variations of it out there that's either accompanied by a guidebook or it's not. And then there's these cheap rip-off companies that like to produce the cards that look like them, but they manufacture it from a different company. It will make a way cheaper cardstock, and the size will be different, and it will be way thin, and the color saturation will not be the same on it. So watch out for companies like that, and try to steer to the people that you actually trust, and read the reviews on, because you may not be necessarily getting what you think that you're getting. And this is a guidebook that accompanies it. I would not suggest this for your first time person that is reading, because not only does it do upright and reversals, but it has a very lengthy explanation per card. So it can discourage and overwhelm a new person trying to read, because not only are they trying to figure out the reversal in the upright, but usually one card can go from, you know, 2 to 3 page explanation about the card, which is a very lengthy process. So when I do charge for my readings and I use this deck, that's the reason for the pricing, because normally simplistic spreads, it can take me up to an hour depending on the reading on explaining it, and it can be quite lengthy and detailed. And in your guidebook, it gives you a little bit about the history of it, and telling you about it, and your deck structure, telling you about the major arcana and all of the other things. And another thing about this deck, this is not based off your typical Rider Waite. So with your typical Rider Waite, you will have the, pentacles or whatever, and have those names for the suits. For this, the names may not match what the Rider Waite deck would. So it can confuse people when, they think of tarot and the stereotypical names that are associated with it. These names can be completely different, but my favorite resource and best advice to tell a person that is reading it and you have a deck that does not have your typical name for it is biddytarot.com. If you use that website and just type in, say, the first card you pull from the deck is in your number 3 arcana, the youth, and you type in the youth tarot, a lot of times if you type it in on a website, it will pop up what it translates to the Rider's Waite deck, so you know what the meaning is. Because most commonly I like to use that website. If I'm stuck on something, I'll use that website to look at its explanation too, and it is quite beneficial and helpful for me to get through some things. And this also goes through a few spreads that you can do: a 1 card spread, a 3 card spread, which is the aspect, the 2 to become 1, and then the soul. And then there are, much larger spreads, the Dreaming Tree spread, the Dreamer spread, and it can go for 9 cards on one. So it can be a pretty in-depth spread. And then you have your overall starts with your major arcana. You know, the first card is normally the Fool in your typical Rider-Waiter deck. In this deck, it will be Choice instead. And this goes over what it is, the small breakdown of typical keywords that are associated with this card, and then key phrases that are within the card, your overall general meaning of the card, and then depending on your reading, there's a past, present, and future option for you to look for the interpretation of it. And then they call it, instead of a reversal, they call it a potential blockage. And and that is your reversal that will explain in your guidebook on what it is. You go through all that, and they separate each suit on what it is by earth, air, like if it's your earth card, or as it right here, the minor arcana air, it will show you this, and that's what you're going into next, and it'll have that page for a cover page. And then you'll dive deep into all of the air cards. It's pretty, you know, uh, simplistic and you can understand it, but like I said, I personally would not recommend it for your first time user because it can be quite overwhelming. And personally for me, if I want to do it, I go all in and I do things the hard way. I never go easy. So it was a perfect deck for me to learn on because it helped me learn better. And I've had 10 years of prior experience reading, so that helped as well. But now on to the cards. All of the cards sides look like this. I really liked the imagery of that. I thought it was really neat. And overall, it's glossy, but as you can feel, it's not really paper thin. It's very durable. The only thing that some people may complain of is the size. Some have said that they thought it was too big. Personally, I like it because it's not, too small. It's just the right size for my personal preference. And this one is Intuition. You got that one. Overall, I love the color saturation and the imagery. And, I can intuitively, kind of feel what these cards are saying and they speak to me. But each person is different with the deck that they get. You don't want to just stereotypically just buy a deck like, Jack Skellington or Edgar Allan Poe or whatever just because it's popular. Just because it's popular and everyone's talking about it doesn't mean it's going to sync with you and you're going to be able to work with it well. I would just personally go intuitively on what you feel is the best fit for you. What I really liked about this deck is that it actually had a thick guidebook with it, and it wasn't really one of those small little paper pamphlets. Nothing is wrong with it, but me personally, I don't like the little paper pamphlets. I like something with more substance that I can hold and isn't going to fall apart on me. I've done plenty of successful readings on this deck. I think I've had it for probably over a year. And, it's pretty spot on with its meanings. And when it's not, I'm bad about if I'm trying to do a reading on myself. It's not as accurate as I would like it to be because, too much emotion is invested behind it. So I usually tend to have friends read for me to make it more accurate. But for my friends that I have done readings for, they really like it when I use this deck because it, not only does it fully explain it for them, but, they come to more peace with the meaning. It is quite a bit of cards. I think, yeah, there's 81 cards with this deck. So usually when I shuffle, I break it into piles and then mix it every now and then and shuffle it on the bed because it is quite hefty to shuffle. But, like I said, the imagery is really pretty. And this is the picture that they pretty well depict on the box. And the first thing I do when I get any deck is I either use stones or I will smoke cleanse them, because I want it to be completely free of any bad energies or, anything bad, energy that a person may have a bad day. I don't want no residual effects on my cards. I just want it to start out on a clean slate, which is another partial reason why I usually put stones in my box. Usually the only time that I smoke cleanse with it is, if I'm usually having trouble doing a reading and something doesn't seem right. Then that's usually a good indicator that it's time to start fresh, smoke cleanse again, and, reground and recenter myself. And usually right after that I do fine, but I usually, this is one of my favorite ones, the Death and Rebirth card, because of I love the symbolism of this one because, the snake, showing it shedding its skin and, being rebirthed. And then the egg is symbolic of becoming new, becoming reborn, and just the whole imagery of it. And then, let's just face it, I love skulls and snakes, so it just totally sings to me. Oops. This is another really cute one. The child. There you go. Those are the pictures of the cards. Like I said, personally, for a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it because it can be quite overwhelming to try to interpret it, especially for a larger reading. Not only having to figure out the overall meaning, but the back that, you know, they have to figure out the reversal, the upright, and then how long the explanation is. It's not like your Scarborough decks where you have like 2 or 3 sentences for an explanation and it's pretty, you know, straightforward, to the point, not really too in depth. This one, it is very in depth, and you know, the explanation in it, it may not all apply to you, but you know, that's where you as a reader, you know, kind of gauge, you know, what is relevant to the person or to yourself, and let them get that from their own from the reading. But overall, I really loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it for someone that, you know, isn't just diving into it. Um, Magic Family of All Paths. I do have an amino that I'm an agent there that I lead, and also we're just starting out a new business, so bear with us. We didn't secure any business loan to start it, so this is strictly out of pocket. So it's slowly growing and establishing. And our website, my amino link, I will drop down in the description. But me and Aster's website is jnmmysticalcreations.com. So if you're interested in any metaphysical supplies or just, you know, home decor that can be easily disguised as quote unquote normal, you know, we have a little bit of everything for everyone. So if you're interested, check it out. More handmade things are coming. As of right now, we're dealing with bulk suppliers and find really good deals to offer customers an affordable cost to get the items that they need. And we are very flexible. If you want something, message us and we'll look into ordering it for you and, you know, get you what you want. So you guys have a nice day, and hit the like and subscribe button, and stay tuned for our next video.